Well, there it is. It looks like Elon Musk has left the building. Goodbye, Elon Musk. Goodbye. I couldn't say goodbye to a nicer guy. And, look, if it wasn't for his ketamine fueled rage and his, interestingly kind of symbiotic need, like with Trump, to need love and need people to just revere him and praise him like he's some kind of deity. It's not gone so well for him. And he did his Doge thing. First, he starts off with $2 trillion he's going to save, which, by the way, I am glad that this Doge thing is such a shitty failure, because if it was successful, it would be a lot worse. I was having a conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and I said that one saving grace of this ridiculous fascist movement that we're dealing with right now is that our fascists are completely incompetent. And it reminded me of a song by this guy named Jack Johnson, the song is called Mediocre Bad Guys. And that's the thing. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, they are just so mediocre. They're so trite. There's nothing really fascinating or interesting about them. Elon Musk has never invented anything. He's just gotten government contracts and taken that money and bought other entities out there, slapped his name on it, a la Donald Trump, and then pretends like he was there from the inception. I've said it before. He did not come up with Tesla. He didn't. He bought it. He didn't come up with Twitter. He bought it. SpaceX is basically a reallocation of funds, a public-private partnership with NASA. But we don't call it NASA anymore. We just call it SpaceX. But it's all the same funding from the government. Just now we're funding a private enterprise as opposed to a public enterprise. Anyway, Elon Musk had started off with his $2 trillion worth of cuts, savings. We're going to save America $2 trillion. Yeah, sure, man, sure. Well, then it went down to $1 trillion. And then last month he was like, we've saved America $160 billion. But then when you start looking at the math and all of the people that he fired that he had to rehire, like he went after the energy department, which houses our nuclear program, and he fired a shitload of people, that the only people that know how to work the fucking nukes, and he's like begging them to come back. Basically, what Elon Musk did was just go in there and go after government agencies that had a problem with him, that he's breaking the law and they were holding him accountable. And then Donald Trump let him in there to have his way, and he immediately went after the organizations that were holding his feet to the fire and managed to get rid of quite a few of them and managed to secure himself many, many billions of dollars of new government contracts. And, I think the turning point between his breakup with Trump, it started with the Wisconsin Supreme Court race that happened last month. Elon spent millions and millions of dollars, and it looked actually pretty fucking illegal what he was doing. I'm trying to make comedy illegal, okay, chainsaw. But he went in there with his millions of dollars and he lost by over 10 points. His candidate lost by over 10 points to the more liberal leaning justice that was running and won in Wisconsin. So Elon, he lost that, and Donald Trump, he hates losers. I think it's just a reflection of him. When he looks in the mirror, he sees a loser. So Donald Trump hates losers. And the whole Elon Musk move fast, break shit, it doesn't really work with government agencies, because these government agencies are here to help our country run. coming in and firing the FAA head and a whole bunch of air traffic controllers, and then planes start falling out of the sky. And then he's got to go back and rehire some of those people. And then, of course, pay the lawsuit for firing him in the first place, and then pay them back pay. And his $160 billion savings ended up costing like $150 billion. So he saves like what, $9-10 billion? It's a fucking drop in the bucket. Anyway, Caitlin Collins here is on CNN, and she's interviewing a tech person and remarking on Elon Musk. So that's not her. That's her right there. So let's see what Caitlin's got to say here.
It's now official. Elon Musk is leaving his role as a special government employee in the Trump administration, with a White House official confirming to me tonight that he's going to start the offboarding process this evening, which essentially includes paperwork. It's not totally clear what else. But we did see Musk post this on his own website saying, as my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I'd like to thank President Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending. The DOGE mission will only strengthen over time as it becomes a way of life throughout government.
By the way, his Doge boys, Big Balls, and, whatever, Emil von Swole, or whatever the fuck they're called, those guys are still there. They're still doing their fuckery. Elon is just gone.
This is all coming as Musk has recently tried to distance himself from the administration to a degree, including when he criticized the president's big, beautiful...
Oh, yeah, look at that. Remember back when Donald Trump did a commercial for Elon Musk on the White House lawn? No corruption to see here, folks.
Bill, something the president was asked about today and essentially shrugged off.
Well, reactions, a lot of things. Number one, we have to get a lot of votes. We can't be cutting, we need to get a lot of support, and we have a lot of support. We will be negotiating that bill, and I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill, but the beautiful is because of all of the things we have.
Here's what Elon Musk had to say about that bill, which the Congressional Budget Office has estimated would add more than $3 trillion to the federal deficit.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing. I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both.
So funny. He's so funny.
My source on all of this tonight is the veteran tech journalist, Kara Swisher.
Before we get to Kara here, Elon is talking about savings, Donald Trump talking about savings. Meanwhile, they're upping the budget to the military by 13% to $1.1 trillion. Spending, Donald Trump's talking about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, yet they are literally spending more money. And I can never pass this opportunity to say it, but if you want to get waste, fraud, and fucking abuse out of the government, the first place you would look would be the military, who has had 7 audits in the last 20 years, and they cannot account for over 60% of their budget. So 60% of every year we give them, $700 billion, $800 billion, $900. Now we're $1.1 trillion. 60% of that they just can't account for. If I was going to do some waste, fraud, and abuse hunting, I would start there. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Let's get back to Kara.
And Kara, it's great to have you here. What do you make of Elon Musk officially leaving his role that he is tonight?
Wow, it's a long goodbye, isn't it? I mean, he seems to be leaving and going out. He needs to work on his company. This was inevitable that he was not going to stay there very long. And it pushed along by the fact that his businesses are a bit in distress. And so he needs to pay attention and do his actual job.
Do you think he's actually leaving?
I think he's probably frustrated by the pace of government. And when he goes back to his companies, he says jump and they say how high. At the government, they don't do that.
Because he's a dictator.
I think he found a lot more difficulty in finding real cuts and everything else. And I think they're only sending $9 billion in DOGE cuts which is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket, which means pretty much his effort was a failure.
Yeah, that's what they're planning to send up to the Hill based on what we know so far. But I mean, $9 billion might sound like a ton of money to someone who's watching, but when you think about his stated goal of $1 trillion to cut coming in,
2 trillion at first,
2 trillion initially, then that was halved to be more realistic.
Yeah.
I think that puts it more in perspective of how much there was this high bar that they did not reach.
No, it's what they spent on paper clips. I mean, it's really not a lot, and he didn't find it. He was able to do it because he made cuts in particular areas, some of which were regulating him, like foreign budgets, maybe attack NPR, attack things like that. But it wasn't significant cutting that they were talking about, which is reforming government extensively.
Look, she goes on to get a little bit more in depth in that, but the point is that this Doge thing was a fucking failure. But not for Elon, because Elon did get a shitload more government contracts. And the only thing that looks really bad for him is, how he's dealing with Tesla, which, by the way, I see Tesla cars every time I see them. I kind of shake my head inside because it's a fucking swastika car. Every time I see a Cybertruck, I just look at the ugliest refrigerator on wheels and I go, God, man, what kind of person is driving that? A dumbass. Just a dumbass. Anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but Elon Musk, he wants to move fast. He wants to break stuff. He is used to being a little dictator in his little Tesla fiefdom or SpaceX, whatever company he runs that he doesn't spend any time at because he's too busy fucking tweeting all day long, on Twitter. But he got his military contracts, and meanwhile, the government spending continues to go up, and poor people get their options taken away more and more. But I couldn't think of a nicer person to say goodbye to. And by the way, I saw that t-shirt he was wearing saying Occupy Mars. If he would just go to Mars and just stay there, I think the world would be a much better place. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.